A school district in Virginia has voted to restore the names of schools that honored Confederate leaders. So here's some reporting from CNN. It says nearly 4 years ago, the Shenandoah Country School Board such a decision and moved to rename Stonewall Jackson High School and Ashby Lee Elementary School. The schools had been named after Confederate generals Thomas Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, and Turner Ashby. That 2020 move was part of a resolution condemning racism and affirming the district's commitment to an inclusive school environment, according to school board documents. The schools have been called Mountain View High School and Honey Run Elementary School since July 2021. Shenandoah County Public Schools serves more than 5,600 students, and about 75% are white, 18% Hispanic, and 3% Black, data from the state's Department of Education shows. But the makeup of the school board is a little bit different now. So 4 years after their decision to remove the Confederate names, the Shenandoah County School Board in Virginia voted 5-1 to bring the Confederate names back. That's crazy. The only opposing vote came from the school board's vice chair, Kyle L. Gutschall. There were people from both sides of the issue making their case during the school board meeting, including one woman who thought the Confederates fought to preserve the land.
I ask that when you cast your vote, you remember that Stonewall Jackson and others fighting on the side of the Confederacy in this area were intent on protecting and preserving the land, the buildings, and the lives of those under attack. Preservation is the focus of those wishing to restore the names of Stonewall Jackson High School and Ashby Lee Elementary School.
But obviously not everyone agrees with her, including Gene Kilby, the last surviving son of Virginia's civil rights activist James Wilson Kilby. James Wilson Kilby helped to desegregate schools in Virginia, and his son is vehemently against restoring the Confederate names for the two schools.
I stand before you tonight on the resolution against racism adopted by Shenandoah County School Board in June of 2020. Were these just gestures at that time, or did the school board really mean it? Why are we here tonight? To go back to a time in history that was very cruel, where hatred and racism continued throughout this county and throughout the United States. My experience with the Confederate sympathizers was in my first experience with Confederate sympathizers was in the year of 1958. I was 7 years old. They poisoned the family dog, shot through our home, mutilated our livestock, and left bloody sheets on the mailbox.
What an insane take. Preserving the land is that what you were taught in school about the Confederates? Is that what they were doing?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
No, what we were taught in school is that they were secessionists, that they were traitors, that they didn't want to be part of the United States. These guys committed treason against the country, which we now consider dear and sacred to our hearts. And so, yeah, that's what we were taught. I mean, even if you got taught a watered down version of it about quote unquote states' rights, state sovereignty, essentially, we all understood that the war was fought over, the right for the Southern planters to keep their slavery, to keep themselves rich as hell. I don't know. The thing that kills me is that they lost, first of all. Why are we always, venerating losers? The Confederate Army lost. And two, why can't we come up with some Virginian statesmen who were not Confederates, who we want to exalt? Like, there has to be some other Virginians out there who everybody can agree, deserves to be memorialized and canonized, right? This idea that it just has to be these Confederate people, I don't get in a country that I thought revered winning more than anything.
Yeah, so to me, what stands out about this story is that they're going back to be racist, like on purpose. It wasn't like, hey, this school's been named this for the last 100 years. Maybe it shouldn't have been named that, but it was. It's kind of tradition. We're not trying to be racist, but we don't like change. Like, that's not a great answer either. But like, it doesn't mean that everyone there is racist if they just don't want the school's name to change because they went to Robert E. Lee's school and they were proud of it. And I went to East Brunswick High School and I don't want the name of East Brunswick being changed, etc. But no. In this case, they're like, no, when we were decent to other people, black people, minorities, etc., in this area, we didn't mean it. It was a mistake. We want to go back to being racist. So that's the amazing part. Look, these guys, they're protecting our land. What I was looking up there to confirm, there's so many stories about all the three people that they're naming there that are just so horrific. You probably learned some sort of whitewashed view of history. Like they always say Robert E. Lee was such a gentleman and he thought that slavery was morally, of course he had slaves and he condoned the whipping of slaves. And he's like, well, I mean, how are you going to control the black man if you can't whip him? Okay, yeah, they seem like really swell people. And you can say, well, historical context, etc. Okay, but I don't want to celebrate that guy, okay? And Turner Ashby led a violent pro-slavery mob. Oh, just lynchings, not a big deal. Okay, let's name the school after them. It's just some folks going out of their way to say, don't get it twisted, we're still definitely racist, is disconcerting.
Yeah, it's a very strange way to approach this particular issue. I don't understand why the United States can't get over the Civil War, but so now you have to wonder, how did this 180?
Not the United States, the South.
The South. Okay, thank you for that one.
Everybody's accepted the outcome except for them.
Yeah,
I'm in the South, so not me. I've accepted it, so I just want to clear my name there. So why did they decide to run back the clock and turn back these school names? Well, a group of residents named the Coalition for Better Schools asked the board last month to consider restoring the original school names. After that, school board members discussed the issue in a work session. They heard public comments and they scheduled this week's vote. So CNN reports that in an April 22nd work session meeting, the 6 board members criticized how the names were changed in 2020, saying it was wrongly done, was rushed, and lacked public input. Board member Gloria E. Carlinio said in the work session that it also eroded confidence in the school board. She also told CNN that the main consideration is whether we, as a democratic nation of laws, will choose to ignore a decision made by a governmental body that exploited the tragedy of COVID, or will rectify a wrongful action that has deeply divided our community. I choose the latter. There are likely some financial burdens associated with changing the names back too. We don't know how much of a burden just yet, but it did cost $304,000 to change the school names previously. For example, they had to pay to change the mascots, the uniforms, and equipment for the school sports teams. They also had to pay to resurface the gym floor, signage on the buildings, and the scoreboards. It turns out racism is pretty costly in addition to being immoral, but the cost to change the names back will allegedly be taken care of through private donations. So that's good. The motion says that it approved private donation. That if it approved private donations, would be used for the restoration of the school names and not by the school system or government tax funds, though the SCPS will oversee disbursements relating to the restoration costs, according to Thursday's meeting agenda. So, well, Cenk, at least none of it is being funded with tax dollars, so maybe that's a silver lining?
Yeah, but at the same time, conservatives are always like, we don't want to spend any money. They're like, oh, $300,000 to be more racist? Yeah, we're in, I'll donate personally, right? And so, and guys, this is not one of these things like, hey, somebody had a microaggression and hey, I don't know that you should call them racist, that just makes the culture wars worse and stuff. No, these guys, their whole point was they slaughtered American soldiers to make sure they could keep black people as property and to sell their children for profit, to rape their women, to lynch their men. There's no subtlety here. They were the worst people on earth and betrayed America. The army they were fighting against was the United States Army. And I don't know why we're celebrating people who were the equivalent of Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, but far more successful. 600,000 people died in the Civil War because of these deeply racist leaders in the South who thought owning people and whipping them and murdering them and lynching them for profit was a great idea, and they wanted to protect their freedom to do that. And so it's one thing that happened in history, but for people in the year 2024 to go back and celebrate that and pay money to celebrate that and to put that propaganda into their kids' heads, it's absolutely sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Waz, what do you got?
I mean, again, I would encourage people, if they have the chance, to just go read the literature, go read what South Carolina, the president of the Confederacy, all of basically the major people, the major generals, go read the literature at the time. Like, it's pretty explicit as to why they wanted to do what they were doing. It's just obviously blatant racism. That's just no two ways. It's not about preserving culture, blah, blah, blah. It's preserving a culture of, subjugating the Negro in America. It's just unambiguous. And I would encourage people to read that.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, we really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.